And the winner is Sue Hopcroft.
At Toastmasters, we are committed to providing positive, supportive feedback to one another. And that makes the whole idea of judging a little bit counterintuitive. But judging is an integral and important part of every Toastmasters contest. So tonight, I've been asked to present some information about judging so that we can all feel comfortable when we're asked to take on that role at a future contest. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Following this briefing, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. And after that, we will, as an exercise, use the judging form to select tonight's best speaker. Judging should not be confused with evaluating. When we evaluate a speech, we look at what the person does well. We communicate ways that they could improve. But as a judge, we have one job and one job only, and that's to select the winner. We have to determine which is the best speech. Now, a good judge must be committed to making a good decision. They must be impartial and set their personal feelings aside. This is the most difficult part of judging, to separate ourselves from that, from the whole aspect of evaluating our friends. We can't give someone a different score because they won the contest last year or because they didn't win the contest last year. And we can't give them a different score because they usually speak well and maybe tonight they're a little bit off. We can't give them a different score because their topic resonates with us or because it's a topic that we don't like at all. Those are things that we have to set aside, and we have to look specifically at the speeches that are being presented. The contestants, your club, and depending upon which level you're judging for, the district and the division, they're entrusting you with this responsibility of making the best decision. Now, it's important that you know the contest rules. And when you're asked to be a judge, you'll be provided with the rule book. The rules change over time, and the book changed this year. So even if you've been a judge before, it's important that you take the rule book home and read it over and make sure that you understand what it is you're judging for. Now, the how of judging, we can look to the form. Did the forms make it all the way around the room, by the way? I started them around.
Yeah.
The form gives us guidance as to how we should judge. Each speech is evaluated on the basis of contents, presentation, and language. And it's weighted on a scale of 1 to 100. 50 points are for content, 30 for delivery, and 20 for language. And within those three main categories, each one has 3 subcategories, and each of those subcategories has their own point level. Now, it's really easy to hear the first speech and go, wow, that was really great, and give somebody 100. The problem with that is that when this second speech comes along and it's better than the first, you've got nowhere to go. So when I've been a judge in the past, I've scored the first person somewhere around the middle, because what's important here is the relative score, not the actual score. It's not like grading a paper where if you get 99%, you get an A+. This is all about relativity. So from one speech to the next to the next. So if you mark someone somewhere around the middle for the first speech, then when the second speech comes along, you can say, well, in this category, was that better than the first, or perhaps not so good, and score on either side. So you give yourself some wiggle room. And that's what we're going to do tonight. I'm asking you to complete the form. So when you hear the next 3 speeches, I want you to fill in the form and score the individuals on this basis. we're asking you to complete the ballot, and the details are important because you have to score first, second, and third place, and you must print and sign your name. If you don't have those things, then your ballot is not counted. And when you're finished, those ballots will all go to the Sergeant at Arms to determine who the winner is. But the real winners will be all of us, because we'll be better prepared for a role as a judge. Now I'll open the floor to questions. Does anybody have any questions about judging? Yes, Ron.
Well, it isn't about judging, it's actually about the process. After each speaker, we're going to be filling this out.
Yes.
What happens to the written evaluations?
You're right, you're not going to have time, are you? The goal tonight was specifically to go through this judging process. If you have time to give the speakers your feedback, then please do so. But we do only have a minute, so you're correct.
How about we evaluate just you?
You could do that, because
Just judge you.
I'm not being judged, because I'm not in the scoring. Right, it's the next 3 speeches that are being judged.
Well, no, we could change the rules and just judge you.
But then there wouldn't be first, second, and third. And all the ballots would be null and void. Any other questions? About judging in the upcoming contest, perhaps? Yes, Dennis.
What would you think is the biggest obstacle in judging? In terms of, and sorry if it's a really big question. I've judged and I've been
Yes.
a contestant, and as a judge, what is the one thing I should be aware of? And I ask this because I've again been a contestant. as a
Yes.
judge.
I think it's what we bring to it in terms of not being impartial.
Right.
I think that's the toughest thing. I know we've been talking about perhaps bringing in people from other areas when we go to do the area contest, specifically for that reason. You're coming here and you're evaluating your friends, and that makes it very difficult. So I think that's the biggest obstacle, and it's the one thing that we need to be really cognizant of, that we need to be looking at this speech on its own, not the speech that the person gave last week or last month, but this speech right here, and that's it. And it's really difficult to leave ourselves out of the equation.
Thank you.
In the case there is a tie, what are the techniques that you can use to choose?
In a contest, there is a tie-breaking judge. Now, obviously, tonight, if we have 2 guest speakers, that's fine. But in an actual contest, there is a tie-breaking judge. So everything is tabulated. If there's a tie, then the envelope is opened, and that person's vote comes in to break the tie.
So what does the tie-breaking judge do?
The tie-breaking judge does exactly what everyone else does, except at the end, they take the ballot, they put it in an envelope, and it's sealed. And
What
it's
if-
only opened if it's
What
needed.
if there is another tie at that time?
And there being, there's only one person.
If you have a tie to begin with and you
Oh,
add one vote
it's
to
after
it,
that tie, and
Yes.
then it's only his vote that will count?
yes, it's only
Got it.
if there's a tie to break. So one more vote will break it one way or the other.
Okay.
And our question time is up, the red light is telling me. So thank you very much, Mr. Christmas.